How's it going, everyone? I hope you are all doing well. Today, I just wanted to talk about something that I've seen floating around a lot lately, and this is the idea that anything that has to do with nostalgia is a scam. And you've probably heard it before, people saying things like, you don't actually miss the past, you just miss how you felt, or companies are just selling your childhood back to you. And honestly, I do get why people say that, but I just don't fully agree. So I just wanted to put down my thoughts and eventually revisit this a while from now, just to see if I still feel the same way that I do in the future. First off, what even is nostalgia? At its core, nostalgia is just a feeling. It's that warm, almost fuzzy sense you get when you think about something from your past, like an old game, a song, a place, or even just a single moment in time. For me, obviously, a huge part of that is Pokémon. I can still remember booting up my Game Boy, hearing that intro music, and stepping into a world that felt massive at the time. It wasn't just a game, it was an experience, a routine, a little escape. And yeah, when I go back to play those games today, they're much simpler, slower, and sometimes even a little clunky. But that doesn't make the nostalgia any less real. That's where I think the nostalgia is a scam argument kind of falls apart, because the claim usually goes like this. You're not actually remembering things accurately, so the feeling isn't real. But that just doesn't really make sense to me. Memory doesn't have to be perfectly accurate in order for it to be meaningful. If anything, nostalgia is less about the exact details and more about what those moments meant to you at the time. When I think about playing Pokemon as a kid, I'm not just thinking about pixel sprites or turn-based battles. No, I'm remembering sitting on the floor late at night trying to catch something rare, talking with my friends about which starter was the best. That feeling of discovering something for the first time. That's real, and that mattered. Now, to be fair, there is a version of nostalgia that can feel a little off, and that's when it gets commercialized. When companies remake old games, re-release old consoles, or lean really heavily into that remember this kind of marketing. Yeah, sometimes I do admit it does feel like they are trying to sell you your own memories. And sometimes they are. But even then, I don't think that makes nostalgia itself a scam. It just means that people are trying to use it. And I think there's a big difference there. Think about it like this. If you play a remake of an old Pokemon game and it still makes you feel something, then that's not a company tricking you. That's a connection that's still there. And if you replay it and it doesn't hit the same, well, that's okay too. It just means that you don't feel the same way that you used to. But it doesn't erase what that meant to you before. I think a lot of the negativity around nostalgia comes from this pressure to be objective about the past. Like, we're supposed to go back and judge everything by modern standards. But I don't think that nostalgia is about objectivity. I think it's more about perspective. It's about who you were when you experienced something and how that shaped you. And honestly, I think there's something really valuable in that. Nostalgia can remind you of what you cared about, what excited you, what made you feel curious or creative or connected. For some people, including myself, that's Pokemon. For others, it's music, movies, or just random everyday moments. But those things leave a mark, and revisiting them, even if they're not perfect by today's standards, they can still be incredibly meaningful. Now, I'm not saying that nostalgia is always good. It can hold you back if you're constantly chasing the past or comparing everything new to how things used to be. I think we all know someone that's like that, that's always comparing things to, things aren't the same as they were back then. So if you're stuck thinking nothing will ever feel as good again, then yeah, I think that's where it does become a problem. But that's not necessarily nostalgia being a scam, that's just being human. For me, nostalgia isn't about going backwards. It's about carrying pieces of the past with you. It's about being able to look at something like Pokémon and think, yeah, that really mattered to me. And in some ways, or many ways, it still does. So no, I don't think nostalgia is a scam. I think it's just a reflection of who you were, what you loved, and those moments that stuck with you. And even if those moments aren't or can't be recreated perfectly, that still doesn't make them any less real. But anyway, that's just my personal take on the subject, but I'm really curious of what you guys think, and I would love to hear what your own thoughts are. Do you feel like nostalgia is overhyped? Do you think it still has value? What's something that makes you personally feel nostalgic, even outside of Pokemon? I would love to hear what everyone's takes are on that. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for listening, and I hope I'll catch you in the next one.